Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Scarlett, and today we have another amazing guest with us today. They go by the name Lavender Ghost. They are a drag queen based in Western Province of Canada, and it's a very conservative society where they live, and they have been using their art skills to advocate for the people of LGBT community of color, and they work in the field of mental health. So welcome, Lavender. How are you doing today?
Hi, Divine. How are you?
I am fabulous, as always.
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. I love your headgear.
Thank you so much. Serving a little Lana Del Rey realness.
Yes, queen. Love it. All right. So before we continue further, please tell us about your gender identity and your preferred pronouns.
Yeah, so I go by he and him in and out of drag. I am also experimenting with the idea of they and them, but for the most part, I do embrace my he and him pronouns.
Perfect. So we'll continue with that. So let's jump into the questions for the day. Tell us about your growing up experience as a person of color between the white predominant area and being queer. How was your growing up experience over there?
Complicated. I think if you were to sum up in one word, I would say very complicated. I think being a person of color, being a person who is a gender radical, someone who does not fit the norms, it in itself is a statement. It's a political statement to step out there in your own skin and then to own it, and to present yourself fiercely. That has always been a battle in a way, a proud battle nonetheless, but it's a fight every day.
Definitely. And have there been any kind of racism that you faced during your growing up experience?
I would say so. I'm from an immigrant background. I immigrated to Canada around, I guess, 20 years ago. So I think that idea of racism will always be part of my life. As I said earlier, it is a statement to present myself in brown skin, to present myself so extravagantly, even as someone who's queer. That has been a hard battle. I think it's been an educational journey, if you will. There has been a lot of trying to explain myself, trying to advocate for myself, for my people, for the queer people. So yeah.
Wonderful. And it's amazing that you keep on fighting this battle, because it is important for people to be visible and be accepted. And if we do not fight, no one else is going to pick up the fight for us. So thank you so much for representing the community in a conservative society. I'm pretty sure it must have been a difficult battle. Tell us about how your gender, being a gender queer person, gender non-conformative person, how that experience has been up until now.
I would say there have been ups and downs. I would almost see it as a burst of color. The burst is painful. It's a push. It's a fight. But I think there is so much liberation in being this and stepping out there and representing so many people, representing myself first and foremost, and my identity and who I am. So it's a mixed bag, honestly. There's the yin and the yang of it. So you take what you can get, you celebrate the victories, you learn and grow from the failures, the wounds that you get make you grow stronger. It's like an armor that you put on. So I think it just has made me resilient in who I am.
Wonderful. And I personally believe that being in a white predominant nation or province per se, especially I would say from my personal experience, the way we see Canada right now, the moment we hear Canada right now, it comes as if it is one gay haven where everyone is accepted and everyone is cherished and things like that. But what your experience tells us is a quite a different experience, and I believe that is something that people need to hear. Because it is not always, unicorns and rainbows and leprechauns all the time, I believe. So, has there been any incident where you felt that someone is trying to get into your personal space and it was not necessary and unwelcomed?
I think so. I think when I first moved to this particular province or a state, as you would call it in India, it was a fight. I do remember there was an instance where this was my first ever time experimenting with gender non-conforming sort of aesthetics. I remember I was going to university and I remember putting on lipstick, but everything else was typical boy, quote unquote. And I remember feeling proud. I remember thinking to myself, like, hey, I have lipstick on. I'm going to look fierce. Then I'm going to look fab. And I step out there and, like, I'm at the bus stop and a guy comes into my space, starts heckling me, starts asking me why I'm wearing lipstick. And my response was because I can. And I left it at that. And he kept on heckling me and dragging me and pushing me around, kind of piece, verbally, of course. And that's always stuck with me. And it's been with me for a while because we don't deserve that. I think we as queer people are just as anyone else. We're human beings first and foremost, and we deserve that right. So that's always been with me and pushed me to stand up for not only myself, but other people who I see are not being advocated for.
True, and thank you for sharing that experience, because it's definitely important for people to understand that it doesn't really matter what we put on and how we appear or how we choose to represent ourselves. People need to understand that you do not have the right to intrude in someone's privacy and personal zones. So that needs to be talked about. Apart from this, you as you mentioned to me that you are working in the field of mental health and you work with the people of the community, especially the people of color who are part of the community. So how is that experience for you? I mean, I'm pretty sure there must be a lot of traumatic experiences. There must be a lot of positive experiences I can think of. So how has that been to you personally?
I think if I could sum that up in one word, I think it would be liberation. Just to know, talking to people who are in a similar spot, who identify in a similar way, who have similar experiences, and who may have not felt all throughout their life that there's no one out there for them, to see that joy in them, knowing that there is a community out there, that me just having a chat with somebody for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then them feeling uplifted throughout their day, and them walking away knowing rather that there is hope in their life ahead. I think that for me is a resounding liberating moment. And not for me coming from a savior complex or a point of view. It's more so I genuinely connected with this queer person in an intimate way, and that makes me happy. For myself, even knowing that I'm not alone.
I can relate to that actually, although I do not work in the field of mental health, but a lot of people have approached me telling me that, I kind of inspire them to be who they are, and it feels quite, it makes you feel relevant to the part of the society and makes you feel that, you are doing something good. So thank you so much for working out there for the people who need a family, so as to say. And what made you, decide that you would like to work in the field of mental health, being a person of, color and a gender non-conformative person? What inspired or what made you feel that you should be working in this field?
lived experiences, I'd say first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
The field of mental health isn't the easiest. There's a lot of trauma that you deal with on a daily basis. There's a lot
Yeah.
of unpacking of trauma and then pushing forward to heal collectively as a group, as a society, but then also as a practitioner. There's a lot of things you can absorb when you see people hurting and you see their scars. But for me, I think it's that healing component is something that's drew me to it. I've had my own trauma, but I'm also in the process of recovering and pushing through and fighting. And I think it's that little glimmer of hope that I told myself, and I've had some people in my life tell me that don't give up, push through. I think I want to impart that as well in others who may feel hopeless. So that's what has always drawn me to mental health.
That's a beautiful experience that you're sharing with the people, because bringing out someone from the darkness of their mind, that is such a wonderful thing to do, to be very honest. Have you ever, being the person that you are and being in a field that requires, connecting with the people on a daily basis, have you felt that your differences from other people have also been some kind of harassment at your work or anything like that ever?
Luckily, not at this point in my life. I would have to say I'm really thankful to be part of a professional space, where I'm accepted wholly for who I am. Prior to this transition in my professional career, I didn't actually think that was possible. I thought I would have to hide myself or kind of perform in a different way for different spaces. But I think luckily now I'm in a space where I'm just fully accepted for who I am. People know I do drag. People accept it, embrace it. They encourage me to do it. I'm seen as a go-to person for anything queer. Like let's have a conversation. Let's have a dialogue. I'm happy about that. So now I wouldn't say I harassed in any way or there's any form of discrimination.
All right, so that is amazing that your workspace is quite accepting and you have not felt that kind of discrimination, and that is important, I believe, in any workspace for people to grow and do the best that they can. So kudos to your workplace and kudos to you as well. Before we round this up, I would like you to, say a few words that you would like people to take back home from this today's conversation.
Don't be afraid. I know as a queer person, I can't speak for everyone, but if I can speak for myself and what I've gone through, there has been a lot of pent-up fear, a lot of hopelessness in the past decade and so forth. But I think I'm in a stage in my life right now where I'm even getting to do this and talking to you. That instills so much hope in me. So if I can say anything to the young kids, the young queer people out there, don't listen to that voice that tells you it's hopeless, give up. There is hope out there. There are people out there. And if you don't find them yet, keep looking, keep fighting, keep being yourself. Keep finding safe spaces, because they are out there and they will come to you when you're authentically you. So don't be afraid. Don't hide yourself. Be yourself, and the rest will fall into place.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lavender. And people, as he said, just don't give up, because there is hope out there, and keep hoping, keep loving, and keep talking to people who are positive influence in your life. Cut out all the negative people that you can, because you don't want that negativity in your life. Trust me.
I agree.
Thank you so much, Lavender. It was lovely to have you. I'm really grateful that I could get to, speak to you today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for being you and doing what you're doing. I appreciate that so much.
It has been an honor. Thanks a lot, Lavender. Thank you so much, people. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and share with the people that you like, your friends and family. And do subscribe to my channel because I'll keep coming back with the people who are gender non-conforming and some amazing, interesting artists as well.
Happy
Take care.
Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride,
Bye.
people.